Hi, this is Seewing Yee from the Yee Lucid Network. I'd like to present this presentation, and the topic would be luxury triplex short-term vacation rentals. Now, for those of you that has been watching and following our weekly newsletters or videos in the past few years at least, and you especially in Florida, you will. I'm going to direct your attention to this side of the screen, right? You will see whenever we have the weekly Florida opportunity, you will see typically these kind of links, right? And we have several categories, of course. The on the upper portion, you will see the big picture presentation that are done by Jean Gillum. By the way, Jean Gillum is she's amazing. To me, I call her the woman, the myth, the legend. Okay, all right. For lack of better term, she's an amazing partner from Florida, and she has helped so many of our members over the past few years to achieve significant wealth by presenting this great investment opportunity in Central Florida. So now, yeah, again, let me just take a step back and just share with you how are these weekly links that we present them as a video when I highlight certain properties from time to time on a weekly basis, and you know what I'm talking about. Of course, all these the categories are single family home, weekly opportunities that she put together every week. In this case, this is a current batch. The single family home, 58,000, 250,000. You click here, you see a whole bunch of properties. But I'm going to focus on multi units on this particular video presentation. But anyway, this is the first batch. 58K to 150K. Then the second batch of opportunities is 150,000 to 175,000, and a third batch is a 175,000 and up single family homes, and then the fourth one is the multi units, right? This particular link. So I'm going to click this link, and I'm going to present something very very interesting. By the way, this batch of link just came to me like yesterday. So I hadn't had a chance to speak with Jim Gillum, but I will. So I am reviewing, I am presenting as if I am in your shoe based on my preliminary review of some of these opportunities. I'm gonna, make my judgment, if you will. I'm gonna make my perception, and then after this, after today's presentation, of course, I'm going to speak with her directly to ask her a lot of specific details. Of course, you can do that as well. All right. So on this week's inventory links on the multi units that Jim Gillum has provided to my network are dispatched like 5, 10, 15, 20, 20, 24 multi units that she handpicked on a weekly basis, specifically in her judgment, in her mind, and her experience that this is the best deals out there for any investors, in particular for our network members. All right. But before I do this, just so you know, it's very important for those of you that are very very serious. For those of you who are really committed, just follow our protocol. Right. You need to of course contact me, all right, or contact her. But before you even do that, get yourself loan pre-approved. All right, get yourself loan pre-approval, because we're very busy. Jean Gillum is very busy. She can only have time to handle super serious investors that already got loan approval, already submitted the specific additional paperwork uh, to her before she will, consult with you guys. All right. I mean, you have to respect her time, because time is a commodity. You have to respect my time as well. All right. I mean, we're very, very busy. We focus on helping people, execute on their transactions. But having said that, so whenever this kind of links comes on, I mean, these properties are not only for our investment group, but people, other investors out there from other part of the country and other part of the world, they have access to these listings. They are in the multiple listing service, right? But suffice to say, I mean, these properties go very, very quickly. Look at the pending. And these properties get sold within a few days, especially the good ones. Some, okay ones, it'll take a week to be sold. But look at the pending. Okay, this pending link was a previous few weeks of links that she submitted to our network. And look at how many of these properties already sold in 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 75, 78. These 78 multi-unit properties in this particular link, some of them are duplex, some of them are triplex, and here are the prices. They are under contract. They are already sold, pending closings. So what I'm telling you that, I mean, these these are very desirable multi-units, and you got to pull the trigger. I mean, I don't know how you're going to do it. You're going to visit Florida first, or you're going to pull the trigger by doing additional due diligence and then pull the trigger right away by sight unseen. That's how it is. Most investors buy sight unseen. 99% of you out there does not need to physically go to visit these properties. That's how the game is played, right? If you have the wherewithal and the courage and the commitment to play this kind of game, like many other investors all over the world that are doing this, and in the US that can pull the trigger very quickly, then you can do well. All right, so I'm gonna skip over the pending. I'm gonna exit the pending and go back to the what's currently available, which is like 24 multi-unit properties. So okay, I'll cut to the chase. The purpose of this particular presentation is I'm gonna highlight one. All right, I'm gonna highlight this one that came aboard that Jim Gillum as part of this link I just received yesterday. And this property really, really intrigued me. Okay, it's not your typical multi-unit like duplex, fourplex, sixplex. This is this is a luxury triplex, 3 unit, right? Look, it's a multi-unit, but it's a little bit different. In case you are not aware of the changing dynamics of the real estate investing these days, I know we've been promoting over the years, like will continue to do so. Long-term rental, 1 year lease and beyond, right? Long-term buy and hold, long-term lease, that's fine. But in this case, well, you heard of Airbnb, right? Airbnb out there, they are changing the world of rentals these days, and there will be other copycat companies out there that will help people. Owners to promote short-term rentals. So short-term rental is here to stay, and in the future, especially, there will be a lot of great evolution of short-term rental investment opportunities. So now this particular property, again, I have not spoken to Jim Gillum, but I will, and just like you, I'm putting myself in your shoes. Okay, I look at the numbers and all the other things. And of course, let's look at highlight of this particular triplex is a 9 bedroom and 6 bath, 3 units, right? This property is located, to be honest with you, it's located in India Atlantic, Florida. I have never heard of India Atlantic, Florida, and I did some Google yesterday. It's located in the middle of Florida on the Atlantic Ocean side. But I'll give you more details as I go over the description right down here. But anyway, it's 341-345 Provincial Drive, India Atlantic, Florida 32903. I did a Zillow check, and Zillow does not even have an actual address to provide us any details. I suspect the reason why is this building was just recently built, right? You see right here, 2016, right? 5,715 square foot. So I break down, okay? And here's my due diligence, and that's how you should do it. 3 units, divided by 5,700 square foot, I would say, a little bit less than 2,000 uh, feet per unit, right? Square foot, 2,000 square foot per unit. So three bedroom, two bath, uh, is it three? Yeah, 3,000. Wait a minute. No, I'm sorry, 2,000 square foot, almost 2,000 square foot per unit, three bedroom, two bath. So it's quite large, each individual room. So you can tell by the picture, you can tell it's very luxurious. All right. I mean, it looks like a luxury building, luxury location. All right. So, and the list price is 1 million. By the way, I mean, look on right off the bat, you're thinking, wow, this is such an expensive property. All right. Hold your thoughts. Okay. Let's take a deep breath and look at the numbers. This is a triplex, looks like a luxury triplex, and I will go over the numbers, which is very, very critical in terms of the capitalization rate, cash and cash return, total return on investment. I'll cover briefly these three numerical metrics that you all should calculate as an investor. Right, so $1 million you think is a lot of money, but hold tight. I know this property is not for everybody. You got to be a fairly affluent to qualify to buy this particular triplex. But let's make the assumption that some of you qualify and you want to look deeper, and I'm going to help you do it right now, at least on a high level, because I'm lacking details just like you. So don't worry about the details, right? Just look at the big picture for right now. This is an initial research and due diligence, all right? So think about it. Many of our members of the Universal Network, I know you, right? You live in Bay Area. You are, in San Jose. Many of you, most of you, right? I would say 95% of our membership that have been with us all these years are from the Bay Area. Many of you are engineers, and many of you already met with you, so forth and so on. So let's assume. Okay, I want to make another interesting assumption right off the bat. Now, some of my members are engineer, right, that came over to California, came over to Silicon Valley recently. Let's say the past year to 2 years or 3 years. You have a very good job. Whether you work for Facebook or Google or whatever, right, in the Silicon Valley, or Apple, and you're making tons of money, right? And you just move over here because you landed a great high tech job, right? And you're making whatever, 150,000, $200,000 uh, salary as an engineer, and you have a lot of, you saved up a lot of money, you have some down payment. Let's say you're renting, okay? You just moved here a year, 2 years ago, and I know some of you already. Some of you are still are not buying property in the Bay Area for whatever reason, and you're still renting, which is fine. Whatever your reasons are, but so let's say you are considering buying. I mean, trying to buy a principal home, owner occupied property in Bay Area in the Silicon Valley. I'm looking at this number. I'm looking at this $1 million home investment property here. So you have two choices, right? I want to play a game. You have two choices. You could, while you're renting and pay $3,000, $4,000 rent right now, you're renting a house. You're considering, should I buy a house in the Silicon Valley right now, the year 2017, for $1 million? Let's say $1 million, you can buy a single family home in Sunnyvale, like built in 1960, whatever, right? Uh, 50-year-old, maybe a square footage is maybe 1,400 square foot, right? Maybe three bedroom, two bath in a decent school district, all right? So that's a median price of a home in the Silicon Valley, in San Jose, in the Bay Area, $1 million. So, so for those of you who are renting, have a very good job, you just moved to the Bay Area, you're an engineer, for example, and you have the down payment. So 25% down payment to buy a home to live as an owner occupied. So you have two choices. You're gonna continue renting in San Jose and buy or or buy a home in San Jose with 25% down payment, which is 250,000, or continue renting. Do not buy a home in San Jose to live as a principal home, as an owner occupied, and buy an investment property. Buy this property instead. Okay, this is the assumption I'm making. Okay, follow me. So $250,000 price. So so therefore, you put 25% down payment. Let's say if you buy a principal home in the Bay Area for for $1 million to live yourself, right, instead of renting. So you're paying 250,000. So your rent, I mean your mortgage on your home area would be almost 3,800. I mean, let's say $4,000. So you put in 25% down payment on a $1 million home in San Jose as an owner occupied, and you're paying $4,000. Okay, and 25% down, 250,000. So that's fine. Okay, I'm not saying that's wrong, but you buy a home to live, you pay $4,000, so it's not income generated, right? You have to have a job, right? You have to pay based on your W-2 income monthly. You have to pay almost $4,000 on your mortgage. That's not even including taxes. Okay, including taxes, you're paying another over here, another 700, for example, insurance, another $100, so 700, 800, 800, like 4,500 total. PITI, principal, interest, taxes, insurance. $4,500 you have to pay out of pocket to live in San Jose to as a homeowner. Okay, okay, good. Follow me so far. Now instead, why not continue renting in the Bay Area as an engineer and redivert your money, your down payment, to buy investment property instead? So let's look at the numbers. Okay, when you buy this, for example, okay, again, I'm making some assumption. You buy this triplex listed 1 million. You put 25% down payment. You look at all the underlying monthly obligations right here, right? So your total payment is 4671. Look at the short-term rental. Again, this is based on projection. The short-term rental per year, now per month, is 15,000 to 16,000. All right. So 15,000 gross monthly rent reduced by your debt obligation 4671, you will receive net monthly cash flow between 10,329 to 11,329. Let's say, for the sake of discussion, 10 grand, right? So imagine you can buy this property as an investment property. You're getting $10,000 monthly passive income, net retirement income, right? So that's the bottom line, right? So if I were in your position, whether I should continue renting in the Bay Area or use your money to buy a $1 million triplex in Florida here, this particular location, and get 10 grand net per month. I would rather do this option, buy this investment property, and potentially retire. Right? I don't need to work, W-2 income. That's the idea, right? So, and then, okay, so in terms of let's go on, let's move on. So this is let's look at the description. Huge investment opportunity. All these three units are of the island villa in India Atlantic, available for purchase. These custom built homes, brand new. It's a Key West style villas for great investment in short term rental. So these two-story, two-car garage homes have all the great quality construction, all these details. I'm not going to go over everything, but short-term rental, project high income, vacation rental possibilities. The Florida city of India Atlantic is located located like 65 miles southeast of Orlando, about 100 some miles north of Miami on the Atlantic Ocean side. So this little city, like I said, is attracting a lot of vacation rentals, right? If the 3 units are rented, gross rent at 15,000, so per unit is renting at $5,000 per month, right? So you look at the numbers. For those of you that watch my videos about how to calculate the return, the most important criteria you need to look at is 1% ratio. 1% is the price to rent ratio. So 1% multiplied by 1 million. So therefore your monthly gross rent should be at least 10 grand to achieve cash flow, right? But your monthly gross rent is way more than the 1% price to rent ratio is 15,000, which is 1.5% price to rent ratio. You follow me? So these numbers are very, very attractive. So therefore, the capitalization rate is beyond 10%, and the cash on cash return is probably around 15 to 20%, and a total ROI is around 25 to 30%. Okay, if you want me to elaborate on how I calculated this, but just contact me and I'll share with you how I derive as such a number. But needless to say, this type of numbers, the returns are above the benchmark of a typical investment property. Everybody get that? Very, very highly attractive on these numbers. All right, so that's the bottom line. Again, so $5,000. If 3 units is 1 million, 1 unit the price is like 333,000, right? So $333,000 per unit, and is renting per unit is renting for 5,000. So $5,000 gross rent per unit divided by 30 days. So if this is a short-term rental, if my calculation is correct, $5,000 gross rent per unit divided by 30 days. So the daily rental is $166.67. So the question you have to ask yourself is, once you do more research on this triplex, once you contact Jim Gillum, and you have to ask yourself, each one of this unit, as do you have a capacity to rent at a nightly rate of $166.67? I'm not saying all 30 days is rented. Maybe they're using, I don't know what are the occupancy rate, ratio, maybe 75% occupied on a monthly basis or 80% occupied. I mean, so therefore, it's not really $167 per night. It's probably around $200 because you're going to have factored in the the vacancy factor, right? So yeah, $200 per night, assuming in the Atlantic is as a desirable place for for the upper middle class to vacation there. I mean, to rent a place for $200 per night on a on this luxury building, on this luxury unit at 2,000 square foot, 3 bedroom, 2 bath per unit. It's pretty decent, right? Pretty realistic nightly rent on a short-term rental kind of concept. Okay, so I think this is it. That's all I have to say. But again, the reason why I'm highlighting this particular property on this particular presentation is because it's something unique, something I have not seen that Jim Gillum have provided before. So the bottom line is this unit may have already been sold. I don't know, right? Until we contact Jim Gillum. But if it is sold, that's fine. At least in Florida, these type of quality of homes with this price point in this particular location and the projection of the numbers, if they are realistic, if they are substantiated, if they are verifiable through some additional due diligence with Jean Gillum and her team, then right, this is a pretty lucrative investment, right? If everything projects fine. So now, even if this property is not available, at least that Jean Gillum have the possibility of finding something similar to this building or this price point. Could be in the same city of this place in the Atlantic, could be somewhere else in Central Florida, right? So the value and the benefit of looking something like this is, I know it's very, very, fairly expensive, but hey, some of you can afford it. I know, right? Because after all, you guys live in Silicon Valley. So $250,000 down payment based on 25% down payment. So you look at the numbers, very, very attractive. So hopefully this help, and just to show you once again, I value Jean Gillam's uh, partnership because she knows what she's doing, and if she has the additional ability to bring some short-term rental program similar to this to our network, uh, uh, something that some of you have the potential to pull the trigger, right? I mean, yeah, of course, I mean, it'd be nice if as part of your research and due diligence, you might have to fly out there in Florida, visit with Gene, and visit some of these properties. Because after all, this property is not cookie cutter. It's not like $100,000 price point, $150,000 cookie cutter price point. Those are low end, those are no brainer, easy to pull the trigger for a lot of you. But this is a high end multi unit luxury vacation rental, a lot of great opportunities. So I think I'm spending more time than necessary. So really take your time, listen to this video, and consult with myself and Jim Gillum. We're very accessible. But yeah, do your protocol and follow our protocol and submit our paperwork in advance. Then we'll be more than happy to consult with you, Jean Gillen, and myself and her team. Okay, thank you so much. Just to let you know, we have so much opportunity, but you got to be proactive. You got to do some advanced work. Don't procrastinate and wait the last minute because these properties go very, very fast. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your time. This is Seewing Yee. Have a nice day, and I'll see you on the other side. Goodbye.